Good day to you. Good, cracking hair. Well, it's all about carers 2024. If you're a carer, good on you. Carers is basically unpaid carers who look after a friend or family. And it's something I've been involved in for 2.5 years now, full time. After driving fast cars and shooting guns, I've sort of got more into sort of bedding, sanitary products and a slower pace of life maybe, but it's but full on night shifts. I mean, mine in particular, I came in real naivety of thinking, well, I'll leave all the dignity stuff to herself and have a carer. I managed to get carers in for a couple of days a week, sometimes 3 if I need to do something, which is really good for 8 hours a day. But otherwise, old people, my mum's 89, she's got dementia, advanced dementia, heart failure, and she's sort of improved over the last couple of years. I've got a before and after photo, and I think my home cooking, I've really got into a bit of cooking, seems to have been doing her some good. She caught COVID a couple of years ago and then was on palliative care, really, where I'd agreed with all the paramedics and things when I was literally dragging her from her bed onto a wheelchair down the corridor, dragging her onto the loo, dragging her back off the loo onto the wheelchair, dragging her down into the bed and tipping her into her bed again. And then she wasn't eating or drinking for a week. And so really that was saying goodbye, really. And she only gone and turned around, and she's looking healthier. I think I blame it on Arthur, because a bit of positivity in her life and things like that. I think it's, and obviously me, very positive introduction to her life. But it just shows how people tend to be thrown into it, really. And I had to make a decision. I'd got divorced. I'd finished a 30-year in policing, and quite frankly, I couldn't wait to get out, as I could see it spiraling into impending explosion at the bottom. And I don't think that's going to recover anytime soon. So that's why I still try to go on TV and radio and try to support the frontline policing, who, it's not their fault. They got crap bosses most of the time. It's been infiltrated with wokeness and do-gooders. Not do-gooders, no, they're not do-gooders. They're basically feathering their own nests and making sure their careers go well, saying what they think is the right things to the right people. So anyway, so it's all very depressing, isn't it? So, but yeah, so my routine is make mum breakfast, a couple of toasts, marmalade in the morning, usually about 9:30, cup of tea, make sure she's all clean, toilet stuff. All those beginning days of dignity, I think lasted 2 weeks, and then I realised it was all hands in, and I've only declared a critical incident on one occasion, but realised there was no backup, which is very similar to policing, I might add. But you know, those situations where do I start? I won't go into any more graphic detail than that. But old age is a bugger. It's quite horrible. So, and then I know I've got a couple of hours. Look, I'm on the beach. I've got a camera in a bedroom. And so I know if she's left and she can make her way to the toilet, but that's about it, and back. What she does in the toilet is always a mystery, because there's that confusion as to what to do first. What do you do before you sit down? And there's real, people hallucinate, and she's worried if she sat on the loo, is she going to mess on the floor? And she's looking around and she can't understand that it's going in the loo. She's done it for 88 years perfectly adequately, and then can't understand at this point. So it's made it a lot easier just by going through with it, coming out and just stay calm, don't get frustrated with it all. Just stay calm, and sometimes just do it for her, you know, just do things for her instead of trying to explain and teach. You're not going to teach them, so stop it, don't bother, because it will frustrate you when you try to teach them and they never learn. So you just kindly do it for them, very calm. And sometimes I must admit, when I leave her in bed all tucked up, and she does say the sweetest thing. She says, "Oh, thank goodness you're here, Harry, thank goodness you're here," when she's all clean and snug in her bed again. And that's the reward. That is the reward. And yeah, and then you know things are good. She's happy, so I'm lucky she hasn't got the Alzheimer's, where it's real anger and frustration. Yeah, she gets my name wrong, but she does recognise me still. I'm very cheeky to her still, and she's great, where she just goes, oh, stop it, you know. She's very funny still, cracking one-liners. And so then I've got a few hours in the morning, and then I give her a lunch, which was a whole sandwich and now is basically half a sandwich to a third of a sandwich. Her dietary needs have gone down. She tends to spend most of the time in bed, 90%. Although, like yesterday, I managed to get her out into the sitting room, looking out the window. It's a beautiful garden with a bird table, and then listening to... She's into country music now. I introduce her to different things. She still can't understand podcasts, so I have to explain it's on the radio. And she cannot understand she said she met my dad with Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon. I said, oh, yes, that. And so I had that on Spotify, and she couldn't believe, I didn't know you had this record. So just go along with it. Yeah, I found it, you know. And some people say, well, why don't you just tell her the truth? Because they get embarrassed and confused, and then they feel stupid. So just skip it and go, yeah, I did. You know, and she hallucinates sometimes with people. There's someone in the house. I said, well, were they nice people or nasty people? Oh, no, she's a very nice person. I said, oh, well, maybe they'll be back. Just go along with it. Go along with it, and that is what it... I had a fair bit of experience in the policing. You sort of learn on dealing with dementia how to cope with these things. So there's an awful lot of carers out there, and I get the princely sum of £310 a month, which is a lovely bonus because it buys me coffees when I come down here. Obviously, like most cops, I've got half a pension, less than half a pension because I got divorced. And but the other thing with carers is when my life's in a bit of limbo at the moment because I can't get another job. The longer I go away from policing, it becomes irrelevant, that experience sort of thing. And I don't know whether I'm going to be getting a proper job. And I'm not proud. I'd work in Audi. It's not a problem. And if it comes down to it, I'm in a fortunate position where I had a small business. I did all my DIY, saved an awful lot of money, so managed to pay off my house. And so I've got some money there, and I'm in a fortunate position. I'm coming back home. I'm going to live in Newquay, but I don't know when. And sometimes I think she's going to outlive me, you know. It's the unknown. You can't make plans. And then you feel guilty because you almost think, I don't want her to feel like, in my mind even, that it's inconvenient. This is inconvenient. And there's no way on earth that I will put her in a care home while she's able to enjoy her environment. And she recognises it and she's happy. I'm not going to take her out of that. And then I see people say, oh yeah, my mother, my nan, she had dementia for 15 years. I'm like, oh God, what have I let myself in for? And of course then it affects people around you, because I wouldn't want to live with someone really long term when they're looking after their mother with dementia in the same house. It does affect everyone as well. So that's just a little gist. Oh, and at night, she's asleep until I've worked out. It's best to let her sleep until 12, and then get her a bit of lunch, 12, 1, 2 o'clock. Get a little sandwich, and then try to just keep her out of that REM, rapid eye movement. Keep her that deep sleep, because otherwise she's up all night. And then just walking into her bedroom going, "You all right, Mum?" Tapping the shoulder. "Oh, yes, yes. All right, see you later. Do you want a cup of tea?" "Yeah, I'll have a cup of tea." She always forgets to drink a cup of tea, but the joy is receiving the cup of tea even if you don't drink it. That's the joy. So it's not wasted. And she's always really embarrassed that she hasn't drunk a cup of tea. So I just sometimes pretend she has drunk it and I'm just taking it away empty. And perhaps she'd like another one anyway. That's the gist. And then at night I try to get her to go to the loo last thing, but sometimes she's absolutely zeroed out. And then I know that I'm probably going to be up at 1:30 to do a loo run. Again, she doesn't know what to do when. And if she doesn't wear certain things to protect herself when she goes down the corridor the next time, ultimately it's the vax at 3 in the morning. And I'm determined not to make my house smell like a care home, or her house smell like a care home. So I always am very consciously clean. I really clean the bathroom well, the toilet well, bedroom. I'd make sure everything's clean. The carers are superb as well. I'm steaming up a bit here, aren't I? And then again, sometimes from 1:30 I'm really let off. And then I'm let off until the early hours in the morning, so 6:30. I mean, that's a really good night's sleep. Otherwise, it's 2 hours later, 5:30. And then it's about 7:30. So literally it's 2 hours up. And you sort of zombified, wake up, routine, back to bed, straight in bed. And I try to let her do as much as she can on her own. So sometimes I set her up, I know she's fine, she doesn't need changing or anything, and then I can go to bed and I'll just listen out, and I hear a little frame going back to bed, and that means I'm there, and then I'm off to sleep. I'm very lucky that way. But this is happening all over the country in various forms. Some people have a lot more difficult than me because they have to deal with quite violent people, very confused, angry, frustrated. And I don't get that very much. I do get a sort of, oh, like that now and then in her frustration. And, but there's a lot of joy in it as well. Oh, joy is a strong word. I think there's a lot of satisfaction as well. But, you know, if she popped off tomorrow, I'd be like, oh yeah, you know. It's sort of, I've always said, she's got the most stunning view up the coast and all that. She's very lucky. My dad pretty much died in the same bedroom. I mean, he went to hospital in the end, like most people do, but when he had his strokes, and that was when I was 18. So that room is a lovely place. I've always said I'll probably end up looking at a back of a pub car park with a fire escape, which is probably where most of us end up. Because there we go. That's carers. Carers, bit of an awareness for 2024, and there's a lot of us out there. And in the meantime, I'll be as disruptive as I can on X. Cheers now.